Alright guys, so as you can see, I'm wearing my kurtka as they call it here, my jacket, because I'm in cold Russia. And then it's time for us to tell you some of the things that's going on here, how Ghanaians are, or Africans, or people who have not been in this kind of environment before are coping and stuff. So today I've got my good friends that came here together from Ghana. I've got Daniel, Ezekiel, Dorcas, and then Kwame. They'll be helping us with the discussion today. What they think about the Russian weather compared to that of Ghana, because these are two contrasting weathers, so you have to know the difference. What they think about the Russian culture. Are Russians really what people say they are? Okay, they'll help us with that one. And also they'll be talking about the education system here, because that's why we are here. The education system, if you are looking at coming to Russia to come and study, we'll be talking about that one. And definitely also be talking about some trivia issues, some trivia questions that you would want to ask anyone who is here in Russia, who is living here in Russia, or staying here in Russia, wherever you are, whether you're in Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, South Africa, Indonesia, Ecuador, anywhere that you are, these questions or this discussion is going to really help you. So you know what, just subscribe, click on the subscribe button down below and hit the notifications button, because we're bringing you more exciting content on this channel. My name once again is Cuisine. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm Daniel. I'm a student at the University of Ghana, and I'm taking a year abroad program here in Russia. Begetebu, if I should say, Imeni Shuhova, here in Belgrade. So I'll be here for a year. That's a year abroad program.
And I'm Dorcas, a student of the University of Ghana, reading information studies and Russian, but I'm in Belgrade, Russia for a year abroad program in Belgrade State Technological University, named after Shuhava.
I'm Kwame Opon, a business executive. I'm here for Masters in Economics for 2 years.
And I'm Ezekiel Alute Awete, also a student from the University of Ghana, studying sociology and Russian, and on a year abroad program in Begete Imeni Shuhava for 1 year.
Well, maybe because I'm not exposed to cold temperatures way back in Ghana. The weather is freaking cold over here. I mean, the first time I stepped out of the airport, I felt like going back. Even though I had come with a purpose and all, I really was put off by the weather. I would say it's very cold, yes, because I mean, I don't like hot places, but I think I've had enough of the cold. But altogether, I'd say I'm blending, I'm coping well. It's not being the best, but if you have the necessary clothing, like your kurtka, how they call it here, your winter coat, you have your gloves, you have your shapka, your hoodies, you are good to go. It's quite good to have an experience from a different part of the world. I think it's part of the total experience, and I'm hoping to cope well, even though we've not even had the cold temperatures, but it's been okay so far, so good.
And the weather, as in the temperature difference between the weather in Ghana and the weather here in Russia is a vast difference. In Ghana, usually is around say 25, 26, 27, maximum 30 thereabout. But over here, when we got here, our very first experience was 3 degrees. And I remember way back in Ghana, we had a fridge that I used to try putting my hands inside, my head inside, and I'll say, okay, so imagine I'm in Russia, how will I breathe? And I couldn't really last for 9 seconds. I was wondering, so how will I manage over here? But then my friends over here just told me, it's not about how cold the weather is, it's about how warm your clothing is. So as long as you're wearing warm clothing, you'll be fine. And it has been true. So as long as I wear my stockings, I wear my jeans, I wear my maybe hoodie, then I wear my winter coats, you may think, oh, this is way too much clothing, but it's all just so you feel warm. So yeah, gradually I'm beginning to adapt. I don't think about the temperature. I don't think, okay, how warm enough should I dress so that I feel okay? Yeah.
Well, I was informed earlier on, or beforehand, as to how the weather is over here in Russia. I was told that there's no good weather in Russia, even in summer. So I came prepared. As a matter of fact, in as much as I came prepared, I was a bit adamant when I came. So one thing that I didn't do well is to protect myself. And protecting yourself in the sense that I got to realize that even when you don't have anything to do, you don't need to go out. So even if they're Russian natives, they always take the bus, always in their car, in their hoodies and stuff, as my brother and sister said. But I try to exploit the place, going around, trying to see how the town is and everything. And I was struck by the weather. I got cold, I was coughing and all that stuff. So my experience is the fact that the weather is cold is something that is, you can't begrudge that. It's something that is fact over here. But it's how you prepare yourself toward the weather. If you don't have anything doing, you don't just necessarily go out and do anything. Because even walking out there is, tantamount to your health. So in as much as you wear your hoodie, you wear your stuff and all these things, there's no need for you to go about here and then without having anything important doing outside, because it can even affect you. So I've come to realize that you walk around, you have your hoodies and stuff always with you, but you must make sure that what you came out to do or what you went outside to do, you do it fast and come to your home or your room and just stay indoors. That will also really protect you, no matter how you clothe yourself, no matter how you fan yourself with your hoodie and stuff. So that's one thing I got to realize. That's one thing I've also experienced. That if I don't have nothing to do, I don't go outside and do anything because of the weather. Unlike Ghana, that you can see I'm going to the mall to have fun and just trying to chill around. But I don't do that anymore. I don't do that. I will not go anywhere just for anything because of the weather. Yeah.
And for me, the weather has been a real experience, a whole experience on its own. When we arrived in Moscow, it was a change in environment. The weather was kind of cold. We managed to brave it, and then we got to the embassy, the Ghanaian embassy. We got a train to Belgorod. Upon arrival, when we got out into the cold, it was deadly, really deadly. I didn't complain to anybody, but then I wasn't feeling alright. My hands were freezing, my gloves were not really protecting me as much. I just wish I could just go back and sit in the train again and then take me to everywhere it is going, because the experience was bad. And then we came, and then another experience was that we had to go out. I went out, I came out well dressed, thinking I've protected myself, wearing warm clothes, my kutka, the winter coats, I'm wearing my shoe. The only thing that was absent was my socks. And I was thinking that my trousers were long enough to cover my legs. But then when I went out, took some steps outside the door, and I had to literally run back because I couldn't stand the weather. I had to run back to the room. I couldn't go out. So the weather is so deadly, and then you have to really, really protect yourself. When I was in Ghana, we all didn't like how hot the country is. We wanted somewhere cold. But then I think this coldness too is kind of something. It's something else on its own. It's a real experience, seriously.
I would say they are very curious. They are very curious. That's one thing I'm learning from them. They will see you and trying to pick at you and find out who the kind of person that you are. I had an experience that at the airport, the Moldova also, people came to me and took pictures with me, and that was lovely. Yeah, that was lovely because you don't see it mostly in the places that you go. And another experience is the fact that they look quite a bit grim, but I got to realize that's how they are. They don't smile for anything. And when they see you and they don't have anything dealing with you, they don't get you for anything. Do you understand? And even when you are trying to say hello or anything of that nature, because they are in the fast movement, they are always up, they are up and about. That's how I have to say it. They're up and about. That's how European life is. Either he or she is going to work or going to school or anything of that nature, and he's seriously doing that thing at that moment. So he had no time to do any other thing aside from what he's doing. Do you understand? So that's one thing that at least we can, we can emulate, or we can try to add to what we have. And culture life, I also think about their system, as in the culture itself. Their, car and even the road system. Anywhere you go, so far there's a zebra crossing, there's no traffic there, but the car from 20 meters away, seeing a human being, will stop for you to cross the road. And that's awesome. You will never find it anywhere, even in Ghana, my brother. Not even in Ghana, probably even in Africa, most of these places. They will stop for you to cross the road. Even when it's in the red, and the moment you step in the zebra crossing and even it's in red for you to stop, the cars, even they are even 30, they will stop for you to cross. And that's one of the things that I think I love so much about them. Do you understand? That's the culture that I love so much about them.
And I also had an experience on the traffic lights. I wanted to cross and to where, okay, I know this is the crossing side, but the light was not yet green, so that means it's not time for me to cross, and I was in a hurry, so I went ahead to a zebra crossing, and I'd forgotten totally that I was in a different country with different systems. So I was standing there waiting that, okay, let me be counting, let me get ready, one leg in front, when there's gap, then I'll quickly run. I didn't even look at the cars, my attention wasn't there that they had actually stopped for me. So I was still standing there like 1 minute before I realized, the cars are not moving. Before I started moving and I crossed, I was feeling some type of way, because it's like, hey, the cars are stopping for me, and it was so different because in Ghana, even zebra crossing, you have to now beg. You have to look at the driver and then beg him, please stop for me, or if you're a child, then they'll stop for you. But if you're a normal teen, they won't mind you. And then, of course, their culture is a bit different from Ghana, where if you're walking, you're minding your business, people will be greeting you, good morning, how are you, how is your family? Before you reach your destination, you would have smiled with and greeted so many people. It would take you twice the time. But here, you just walk briskly, and I think maybe the weather has something to do with it. Because we are all so cold, I don't have time to take my hands out of my pockets and I'll come and shake your hand and say, hey, how are you doing? It's been so long. I'll just maybe look at your face and quickly pass by. Later, when I get to my room, I'll text you. And it's cool like that. But you see, the other thing is, people sometimes judge people wrongly. So because you don't understand the Russian people and their culture, people tend to say, oh, Russians are like this and Russians are like that and Russians are like this and that. But when you open your mind, you see, okay, they don't know you, so why should they smile to you? And it's true, I don't know you, where you are from or anything, so I'll just be cool and civil towards you. But when you become friends with some of them, then that's when you see, oh, they're actually very nice people, they're very lovely. And as for the foreigners here, well, because we are all studying the Russian language, so we are in a class of many foreigners, and I'm now seeing some of the similarities between we Africans. We Africans, we are also open, hospitable, and all of that. You go to an African's room, and they want you, if they are eating, they'll invite you, they'll take a portion for you and all of that. But for the others, they don't mind you, because this is my own space and this is my own thing, so it is for me. But Africans, we are not like that. We see people and we greet them and all of that, and we want to be so merry with them all the time, and it's cool like that. So when you see Africans, you know how to relate to them. When you see other people from other places, then you know, okay, it's just a matter of passing my somewhere. It doesn't mean he's fighting with me or something, and we cannot live amicably like that.
Yeah, I would say Russians, I had, before I came to Russia, I had heard a lot of things about Russians. Foremost, they are racist. But then, I believe the first time, if you meet anyone, you have this weird perception about, is this person a good person, a bad person, what sort of person am I meeting? So you don't really aren't in a hurry to open up. Unless maybe you get to know something that will give you a clue about who that person is before you want to open up. So I think that's the same with Russians. Because if you are to open up to them, they get to know you, they get to know how you think. They are good people. They are not as perceived as racist. Russians too, I think there are some aspects of their culture that are quite not in sync with our Ghanaian culture. With greetings, no. In Ghanaian culture, is seen as like a sign of politeness. But over here, when you're walking around, everyone has their own agenda. People really don't even have time to look at you. Sometimes the person will look at you, but to introduce a smile for you to smile back will be one difficult thing for the person to do. So it's not like you can see someone, you just walk by, and in Ghana this would have been interpreted as rudeness. But over here, no one really cares. Everyone is up to what they are going to do. No one really cares about whether you grade them or not. In the end, they just want you to get what you have to done. And if that's what you have to do, then that's what they like. So over here it's quite different. As in Ghana, that people would want to interpret a person who likes greeting, a person who likes sharing jokes as a nice person. Over here, it's more like do what you have to do and then we get along. That's mostly what I've realized personally.
So when we are talking about the culture of Russians, I think it's quite different from how we Ghanaians we live our lives. In Ghana, when we have something we say Ghanaman time. When you are given a time, let's say you are going for a program and you are given a time at about 2 o'clock. A Ghana man, that 2 o'clock is the time that he's going to take his bath. Not the time he's going to leave the house. He's going to take his bath at that 2 o'clock. But so the program actually starts at 5 for the Ghana man. But it has been, or let's say it's different with the Russians. When they say 2, they mean 2. They are very time conscious. And you can see that my lecturer always talks about that. Immediately some of us get late or something. You always say, so is that actually how you are in Ghana or it's individual habit? But to be frank, it's how we are in Ghana. We are not time conscious. And also they don't laugh much as my colleagues here have mentioned. They don't laugh much, but then it's understandable because, as they've already said, if I don't know you, do I laugh with you? No. And if I see you for the first time, I don't open up with you. Before I get to know you, or until I get to know you, we are just acquaintances. And acquaintances, I don't open up with you. I don't tell you, or I don't laugh with you as if I've known you for 100 years. Yes, in Ghana it happens. You meet someone for the first time and then it appears as if you've met the person for 100 years and then you laugh all your heart out. But then in Russia, it's not the case. Everybody minds his or her own business, live his life. I mean, secretly, privacy is also, they kind of have this kind of privacy. When you are walking along the street, no one stops you to ask you a question. When you are walking in Ghana, that kind of thing is not, I mean, you don't have that kind of privacy, because when you meet someone, hello, hi, oh, it's saying, I want to say, who's your phone? And I want to say, oh, maybe like, oh, my time, or sorry, yeah. You understand? That kind of thing is not in Russia. And then one thing I like best, well, one thing I like since I came here is the fact that it's their street security. Pedestrians crossing the road and how they regulate between pedestrians crossing and then cars flowing. In Ghana, I think if you are a pedestrian trying to cross the road, we say look left, right, and left again. If there is no car coming, you walk, don't run. But my brother, if you don't run, your life is in your hands. But here, you don't have to look left, you don't have to look right. Just cross the road at the nearest zebra crossing and then your life is safe. Because immediately the cars see you, they stop for you. Whether you are alone or with somebody. But then if you are crossing at a place where there is zebra crossing, the cars that are going, they have a time limit. When they reach their time limit, then it is time for the pedestrians to also cross. So it's not that haphazard. So the life of the pedestrian is somehow secured, and then there is road security, which I think is not in Ghana. In Ghana, the cars, I mean, nobody cares about anything. Food issue. So I've also tried just the plov, and it was good. it was so good. Like seriously, it was good. I enjoyed it so much. But I went to the market, to one of the shops to buy mashed potatoes, and I regretted. The food was, I wouldn't say it was bad, let's say it was my taste, but then I didn't like it. I didn't like how it tasted in my mouth. I tried adding salads and mayonnaise and to make it better, but then at the end of the day I had to throw it away. I didn't take it. So for the plov, I mean, it was good, so good, but then the mashed potatoes, I didn't like it. So far, those are the two Russian foods I've tasted. The rest, rice and stew, I mean, we tried them in Ghana. They aren't anything I've never tried before.
Well, I'm kind of so much acquainted with the food that we eat back home, so I've not yet tried anything Russian. As a matter of fact, because I still have that kind of taste, you know, the Ghanaian taste with me. To tell you the truth, when I came, I've ate fufu. That is meat fufu, yeah. I ate beans with potato, you know. So these are some of the foods that, you know, that is still with me. So I've not really got into that Russian food. And the other foods that I eat are those foods that we normally eat in Ghana, the KFC and the likes, and the pizza and the likes, because I'm still trying to sync myself with the system out here. So I've not yet tried anything Russian, but I know as time goes on, I'll try one, as my brothers are saying. But for the food, I've not yet tried anything of that sort. And for the water, you know, we have to drink water, right? And their water system is very different from ours. Very, very different from ours. And I mean, you have to buy your own water from the shop. Unlike, you know, Ghana, you have a tap flowing. That is cool. You can, you know, fill it with your bottle and put it in the fridge. Or better still, you have a sachet water, or, you know, bottled water, or something of that nature. But here, they don't do that. What you do is that you go and buy your water in a 1 liter or a milliliter from the shop, and when the water is finished, you refill it outside with your own money. So you see a lot of people carrying, you know, bottles around. And the first time that I asked the question, why don't you trash these bottles and get a new ones? Then I was told, no, you fill your water outside. So the moment your bottle or your water is finished, you place somewhere, and when you need the water, you go and refill it. And I think that's cool. Yeah, that's very cool, and it's very cheap. Unlike Ghana, buying, you know, I used to buy Baltic medium sized one, which about 18 cities for probably 2-3 weeks or a month in my house. But here, comparatively, and because of the weather, you don't really get, you know, thirsty. To tell you the truth, because the weather is not that, you know, scorching as in Ghana, so you don't really get that thirsty. So I mean, if you have that kind of 2 bottles with you, you are good to go. You don't get to drink too much water. And the drinks that are over here, soda drinks and everything, are very cheap. So I know my brothers, I like that. So you like to buy a lot of them the last time when you went to the shopping mall, a lot of Sprite and stuff like that. But you see, because it's very cheap, and because it does replace the water system. And one thing I got to realize, because of the water system is not that, you know, it's mostly by outside and stuff like that. The people out here replace them with drinks. Have you figured it out? Like,
Yeah.
They replace it with drinks. I have quite a number of people that have seen them. Instead of buying water, they will buy beer. That's what they call piva, right? Yeah. So they instead replace the water with piva, and that's one of the causes. That's I also got to realize about them. Instead of water, they will rather choose piva or vodka. You understand? So that's one of the things that I also got to realize. But for me, I will stick with my water, and I used to drink a lot of water. But to tell you the truth, since I came here, I have not been that thirsty as I used to be in Ghana. So even when I fill 1 bottle over here, I can't even take it for a week. But if I was to be in Ghana, 1 bottle would not even take it for a day. Because I'll be taking a lot of water. But because of the weather, I can cope with it. So that's one thing I've got to realize. But for the food, I'm here to taste some. And my brothers will help me taste the broth as to say.
Well, I've also tried plov and it was okay, but the first time I bought it together with Danny, so we ate one small plate of plov and we were okay. We bought a liver and the whole mixture was nice. So another time I was hungry and I said, oh, I've tried plov before, it was fine, let me go again. But this time I was eating it alone and it felt like this is too much. This is like even a burden, like a punishment to eat all this food, and it looks like fried rice, but it is different. Even though you can see this is this is carrot, this is supposed to be cabbage, this is supposed to be that, and that's supposed to be that, but it's different. So since then I've not bought any more plov. But I also tried their pizza, and you would think pizza is pizza, right? But no. Pizza is not pizza the same everywhere. I call it Russian pizza because it looks different. I want to see chicken on the pizza. I want to see like the chicken sticking out of the pizza, then I know, yes, this is chicken pizza. But over here, what you see is cheese, or maybe from where I buy it, what you see is cheese. But I tried some other place and it looked a bit similar to the cheesy pizza. But well, I'll try other places and see if this is how Russian pizza is, or it's just some places that like to add way too much cheese with mayonnaise and all the other things. And yes, I've also tried Russian pastries. So there's samsa, that's sort of like pie. Then there's one is pizzerine, it's like mini pizza, very small, round with sausages and corn. Their sausages taste different. It's weird in my mouth. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm eating sausages at all. So I've not tried that one too. Then I tried something called stroika. It's some sort of pie too. So yeah, I've been trying their pastries. If it's nice, I buy it again. If it's not nice, I just stop eating it at all. And well, some of their pastries are actually nice. Sometimes it depends on the individual eating it. Some like it, some don't like it. And yeah, so many types of pastries. If you're a food lover, then trust me, you will love this place because there are like 1,001 shops with 1,001 other types of pastries. That's also nice. There's also biryani, is also equally nice. And then you think you are in Russia. Okay, Russia has rice, Russia has tomatoes, Russia has all of these vegetables. I can always cook my Russian dishes and my Ghanaian dishes because I brought spices from Ghana, so it should taste like my Ghanaian food, right? But it doesn't. There are so many brands of rice with so many different tastes, and you cook the thing and this is supposed to be rice, but it looks like something else. It looks like omoto, a cross between omoto and rice that they don't go well. And I've had to change the brands of rice that I buy, and I finally found one that looks like the normal rice as I know it. So I'm going to stick to that. And then it was the same with spaghetti. I tried so many different brands, and I was even shocked that there's a spaghetti that could look like banku. Like, I was so surprised. It looks so different. I don't know what kind of dish they use it to cook, but it's obviously not what I wanted to do with it. And yeah, that too, I've also found a brand that is okay. It's like what I'm used to. So it's just a matter of trying, and then if it goes well and you like it, you stick to it. If it doesn't go well, you just stop. You don't condemn the whole country that what sorts of people are living. People say so many nasty things. I'm like, nah, you are just not being open-minded. Just go for what you know. If you can't try others, then just stick to what you know, and you know it to be good for you. Well, in Russia, if you are a fast learner or you are one who is curious, I would say yes, come, because their language is just something else. And if at the time that you usually get tired easily, or you don't like putting so much effort into what you are studying, then this place will not be best for you, because even simple sentences where in English you say I'm going to visit a friend, it's so different in Russian with so many rules in the languages and all, and then their culture too. And people say they are racist, but then I think it depends on how you see them and how you behave towards them. So well, that's advising you, if you would come here, I'd say first see what kind of person you are. If you like mingling among people and you are not those kind of people that they see everything strange and they have a particular, if rice is not cooked with this amount of salt I can't eat, then please just stay where you are instead.
Well, I think for exposure and experience, that is the reason why some people like us, decided to study over here. And just like my sister said, the language is another added advantage to a student, to your career, and to your life. You know, I was just told today by one of our friends, that is John, that the Russian language is ranked 7th in the world, right? And that is a plus to any student. I was reading one article just about 2-3 days ago on Washington Post, or New York Times, Nicholas Christoph. He was saying that, why don't you study abroad and get experience and get exposure? Why do you sit in America or any place that you find yourself in your comfort zone and study Russia and study Spanish and study French? Why don't you take the leave outside? Get that exposure, get that experience for a year, for 2 or so. Come back, sit in the room with people that speak the same language. Don't learn it in your home, because you don't get interactive. And I like the fact that I've seen my brothers over here speaking the Russian language whilst over here with themselves, because they want to get themselves interactive with the language and get themselves well acquainted with the language, so that when they leave here, they'll still be well versed with the language. That is the reason why they are here. And that is the reason why all of us are here. I could have done my master's in economics in Ghana, Kenya West, Legon, UPSA. Now there are a lot of Accra Business School. They are all offering masters in education, masters in economics and everything. But for the exposure and the experience, and for the language wise and all these things that we've talked about, that is the reason why we try to stay outside. And it's like my sister said, it's a lovely place to be. Come around, study, get knowledge, impart yourself, and just follow your dreams and aspirations and move on with your career, where you want to go. So it's a good experience for me, and it's my dream to study abroad. Just get exposure and experience, not necessarily to be in Ghana and follow the same kind of trend, follow the same kind of education system and all that stuff. As she said, here is a fast learning place. If you're not fast, you're not getting it. I'm still trying to cook myself with the do's and the do and the day and the no and all that stuff, because I'm here to start my class. And as a matter of fact, I've been told by a lot of people that it's not that easy, even among those of you that have studied before. You understand? So you have to be open-minded. As you said, you must be a fast learner, a very fast learner. And these are some of the things that one need to go out and learn. Even not Russia, even any other place. So I've always been encouraging my friends back home and other places that they need to go out and have that exposure. It will be a benefit to their life and to their career. So I am blessed to be here, and I just thank God.
For me to tell someone to come and study in Russia depends on a lot of things. I mean, it depends on the person who I'm recommending Russia to. Because Russia is a whole experience on its own. I mean, coming from Ghana to Russia, it's so different. It's different from going from Ghana to America, going from Ghana to Britain. I mean, they are two different things. Coming from Ghana to, Russia, the language is different. The weather is different. The food is different. Everything is different. So, if the person is not open to new experiences, then the person is not ready to live in Russia. So before I'm going to recommend Russia to anybody, the person should be ready to learn, should be ready to accept challenges, or should be ready to face them. And also, for someone to learn over here, I think the person has to, because their learning or their education system is a bit different from the one in Ghana. Their system of assessment. I mean, last time we were writing I don't know if we were writing an exam. That was what we were told, and we went to the hall, and then we were sitting in front of computers. I mean, I never did that in Ghana. When we were told to go before the computer, I was surprised. And then after the paper, I learned that we all studied the same thing though, but then everybody was answering different questions. So, I mean, if someone is supposed to come to Russia, the person has to be a learner. The person has to learn. I mean, be open to learn. That is it. So if for me to recommend Russia to somebody, then it will depend on a whole lot of things.
And I just want to add that before you even decide to travel to Russia or to any other country, you should do proper research. You should know, okay, so I'm going to this city and this is how this city is and this is how the people there are. Okay, you may not be so accurate, but at least this is what I should expect and this is the kind of food and how the university is. Because for a country like Russia, it's so big and there are so many towns and all of them even have separate weathers. A city in the northern part of Russia is much colder than we those here in the south. So if you don't check well and you're like, oh, St. Petersburg is a nice place, I want to go there. Well, they're up there and their weather is much colder. But over somewhere else like Volgograd is a bit warmer, so you should do your proper research. And then universities also have different styles of teaching. So if you are a type that, okay, you don't like painter assignments, you don't like this, you don't like that, you're unable to copy some of the things, then you first try and find out all of these things. Then you prepare yourself, because even when we are coming here for just 1 year abroad, some of the things that were at a loss, what should I bring, what should I not bring, what should I expect, what should I not expect, and we got some information and answers to some of these questions. We didn't get others, and we got here and we realized, oh, I should have done this way and I should have done that way. So it's very important to know in details where you are going to and how that place is, so that you can better prepare yourself.
Before I talk about studying in Russia, I'd want to take a trip down memory lane and talk a bit about my experience in Ghana. Growing up in high school, I had a privilege to be in class with a group which were very clever, I should say, a group of intelligent students in one class. And I realized it was more of a pattern that you have good students not wanting to talk in class. They'll be very silent, and only when exam scores come out you realize, hey, so these people have been quiet, they're not answering questions, but their grades are really good. Over here in Russia, it's really different. Now, first impression in class really counts. Lecturer comes to class, no matter how good you are as a student, if you don't come out to say something, they wouldn't know. And it's a place where you have to come out and challenge certain things that possibly you don't understand. That is how come they get to know how good you are as a student. And also, when you are taking a language, it could be, yes, you'll be doing well on paper, but the actual thing is talking. So we have this idea, oh, there are some brilliant students to me, I don't like talking, people will laugh at me and all that. If you are here in Russia, it's a whole ball game altogether. It's a different thing altogether. You have to go out there, you have to talk in class, you have to participate. Even if you are not interested, you forget about what you are interested in, what you are not interested in. You are there to share your ideas. So I think over here, every student should be ready to talk in class, unlike in Ghana where brilliant students, they don't talk in class, but some way, somehow they pass and go. One other thing too is it's really stressful. I think we are having class from Monday through Saturday, and that's not something that I think any students would like. You would have to go there, just as Ezekiel said, on time, because Russians, their time really counts. Sometimes your time alone can give you a very bad impression, and mostly in Ghana, teachers would consider that, but sometimes they would just give up. This student is a habitual latecomer and it ends there. But over here, habitual latecomer, it doesn't end there. It goes way beyond being a habitual latecomer. Then now we want to know reasons as to why this student is a habitual latecomer. We call you, advise you, and this is a sizable class. Yes, there are classes that are quite large. Maybe you wouldn't be able to trace which students come late, which students sneak in, or which students come early. My class is a very sizable one. If you are late, you are good to go. But in the end, you'll be noticed, and that wouldn't be a good story. So I think over here, the system is really different. If you want to be a student, you really have to be so multifaceted, not like you are looking at only one aspect, being like, oh, I'll do well only on paper. And also here, it's more of practical, because if you are taking a language like this, you would have to also take part in other activities. You have to either sing, you have to either act, you have to either do something with a language. It's not just about being in class. That's fine. You'll be taught the theory stuff. But these guys are really much more particular with how you are using the language, and then they get to assess you. So I think over here it's much more holistic as compared to Ghana, where you have a lot of theory. Students don't really get time to practice their language. So it's very holistic.